say hello to Tyler and Josh. 21 Pilots, everybody. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Of course, I'm Bryce from Sonic 1029, in case you couldn't tell from how subtle we were from our setup. But we got a lot of lucky people here tonight who are excited to say hello and to meet you guys. And we got some questions lined up, special questions, so we may as well get going. Natasha.
Which one of your own songs holds the most meaning for each of you?
It's tough to pick one, but I think one of my favorites is a song called Taxi Cab. I remember vividly where I was when I wrote it, so it means a lot to me.
Maybe The Judge.
There you go.
All right, where's Toby?
I was just wondering if there's any bands or musicians that have inspired you that might actually surprise other people.
Other bands that have inspired us. I guess you'd probably be surprised how many bands have inspired us to not do what they do.
That is true.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll see that and go, yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
We're very picky about shows, which is, even our own show.
And it's not that we're particularly negative people. It's that I think a lot of times the convention of what a concert should be is just followed suit by everyone else who puts on a show. There's certain things that actually you don't have to do it that way, or you can transition between songs this way. You can address the crowd this way. Your lights can look like this. The sound can sound like this. And so just feeling free to challenge what it feels like everyone else has laid before us as the guidelines to how to put on a show. So we're, in a sense, influenced by what others have done ahead of us, but also the idea that we can challenge that.
All right, my question. If you were yogurt, would you be fruit at the bottom or stirred?
Or stirred?
I haven't had yogurt or fruit in 11 years, so I don't know.
Ever since you moved out of your parents' house?
Ever since.
As a parent with a child showing an interest in music, what advice do you have for me to encourage his learning? Is there any instruments that you recommend early on for children, and what are your thoughts on formal lessons?
Probably not the drums.
Not drums.
I definitely put my parents through a lot playing the drums. And drums is an instrument that out of context really makes no sense and hardly ever sounds good, especially when you're learning. So I know that I just made a lot of noise. But my parents were amazingly supportive.
Neither of us have really had any sort of training or lessons or anything, but my parents never gave me an option to take lessons of any sort. And I think that if it were presented to me earlier, maybe that love of music would have shown itself sooner, and I would be in a more advanced spot than I am right now. But ultimately, I do know that lessons and formal training, it can't create that love. It can't create the drive and the obsession with music, but it can introduce it, and it can offer it as an opportunity to find out, do they like it or do they not?
Who in your early life helped shape your musical taste? Like, was it your mom, dad, Ricky in the 7th grade, or did you just flip radio stations and find your music that way?
We both kind of grew up just listening to a little bit of everything.
Neither of us really grew up in particularly musical families. So we were kind of the weird ones in our family. My parents didn't really play an instrument or know much about music. But as soon as I showed interest in that, they loved that. That's something that I did. One of the things that I guess hated the most growing up in my family with a bit of a musical talent was how much they forced me to try to play in front of people whenever they had guests or friends come over. I hated it, but I'm so glad that they did, because it really made me more and more comfortable, more confident that what I was doing was good, was worth showing other people. And so as a parent, I imagine myself also doing that to my kid if they ever show interest in that, because I think that was such a big development in who I am now.